Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, picture this. It's a gorgeous day, you're out in the garage, you turn the key on your Yamaha R1, and nothing. Or maybe even worse, you get that dreaded flashing check engine light. We've all been there, right? That absolute dread when your bike just refuses to cooperate. But hey, what if I told you that you don't actually need to drag it to the dealer or buy expensive software to figure out what's wrong? Hidden way down deep inside the R1's electronic nervous system is basically a secret developer menu. Today, we're going to hack into it. We'll bypass the normal dash and tap straight into your motorcycle's deepest diagnostic secrets.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here's our roadmap for today. First, unlocking the menu. Then, navigating the diagnostic codes. After that, we'll get into real-time component testing, translating those error codes, and finally clearing the system memory so you're good to go. All right, kicking things off with Section 1, unlocking the secret menu.
Getting into this diagnostic mode, it is literally like punching in a precise cheat code. To initiate the handshake with the engine control unit, you have to nail this exact 6-step sequence. First up, make sure your ignition is totally off and that red engine stop switch is disabled. Next, press and hold both the select and reset buttons on your dash at the exact same time. Now don't let go. While you're holding them down, flick the ignition key on. You are literally bypassing the standard startup sequence right here. And then, you just wait.
And you wait for exactly 8 suspenseful seconds. I know, in the world of modern electronics, sitting there holding 2 buttons in dead silence for 8 seconds feels like an absolute eternity. But if you nail the sequence, the dash is going to suddenly shift, the speed and RPMs vanish, and you get this glorious, simple little inscription, DIAG. Boom. From there, just let go of the buttons, press them both down again for 2 seconds, and D01 pops up. You are in. You have officially breached the mainframe.
Moving right along to Section 2, navigating the diagnostic codes.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is understanding how to actually move around in here. You navigate using Select to scroll up and Reset to go down. But the absolutely crucial part is understanding how this matrix is divided. It's basically split into 2 totally different zones. Channels D01 through D59. Those are your real-time self-diagnostics. This is where you are actively interrogating physical parts of the bike right now, in the exact moment. But then you have channels D60 through D62. These are the system errors. Think of this as the bike's diary. It's the memory bank of past traumas, stuff that failed or broke days, weeks, or even months ago. Let's take a look at a sort of greatest hits list of these active codes. These are your real-time vitals. Code D01, for instance, is essentially the throttle's pulse. If you physically twist the throttle grip, you can actually watch the numbers on the screen climb from closed, which is around 15, all the way up to wide open, around 100. It proves the sensor is actively tracking your hand. Code D06 gives you your exact coolant temperature. But D08? D08 is super fascinating. That's the drop sensor. Normally, it reads between 0.4 and 1.4 when the bike is standing up. But if that number shoots up to around 4.4, the motorcycle literally thinks it's upside down on the asphalt.
All right, up next, Section 3, real-time component testing.
Okay, so this is where it gets really fun. We go from just passively reading sensors to actively commanding the bike to flex its electronic muscles. I absolutely love this direct quote from the diagnostic manual. It describes the testing phase as being, quote, accompanied by a distinctive sound with concurrently lamp-blinking check engine. I mean, it's not just numbers on a screen anymore. When you fire off these tests, the bike gives you tactile, auditory, and visual feedback. It's this whole multi-sensory diagnostic loop.
So here's how that actually plays out in the real world. When you scroll to codes D30 through D33, you're targeting the ignition coils for each of the 4 cylinders. Codes D36 through D39, those hit the fuel injectors. Now, when you flip that red engine stop switch on the handlebars, the bike's computer fires exactly 5 distinct electrical pulses right to that specific part. You will literally hear 5 sharp, physical clicks echoing out of the engine bay, completely in sync with the check engine light flashing 5 times. It's wild. You are orchestrating the engine's heartbeat without it even running.
Let's move to Section 4, translating the error codes.
But, we aren't just in here to play with the fuel injectors. We need to actually diagnose problems. And this brings us to the slightly darker side of the system, decoding those trauma codes. And this brilliantly illustrates the quirky nature of technical translations. When you pull up code D61, the manual literally says, "This error number memory brains." Honestly, despite the totally broken English, it paints a perfect picture, right? Channel D61 accesses the motorcycle's central brain memory, It is the locked vault where all the stored error codes are just waiting to be read.
Now, sometimes that brain is dealing with catastrophic stuff. I'm talking fatal communication errors. ER1? That means absolutely no incoming signal from the ECU. ER2 means no outgoing signal. ER3 has another incredible translation: impossible to consider testimony from the ignition module. Just amazing. And ER4 is a total massive communication failure with the dash. If you are seeing these codes, your motorcycle's neural pathways have basically gone totally dark. The whole system is completely silent.
Aside from those total blackouts, the system also logs specific physical traumas. Error code 15 means that throttle position sensor we played with earlier is acting up, but check out error code 30. Recorded incidents is detected. That is essentially the bike's very clinical robotic way of telling you, hey, I fell over. And if that fall actually damaged the wiring, you are going to see error 41 pop up immediately after, which means there's a short circuit in the fall sensor itself. The brain literally logs the exact step-by-step sequence of the disaster.
Finally, Section 5, Clearing the System Memory.
All right, so you've interrogated the system, translated the trauma codes, and hopefully you've actually turned a wrench and fixed the physical problem. But there's one last step to complete the hacker's journey. You definitely don't want those old ghost codes lingering around and confusing you the next time you have an issue. So you scroll over to channel D62. Once you're there, you just toggle that red engine stop switch one last time. Hitting it on D62 sends a master command that instantly wipes all those stored fault codes right out of the ECU. You are completely clearing the slate, resetting the system for a totally fresh start.
And there you have it. By mastering this sequence, unlocking the menu, reading the live sensors, firing the coils, and decoding the memory banks, you completely change the game. A frustrating breakdown just becomes an active conversation with your machine. You're not just a rider anymore, right? You're a technician tapped straight into the source code. So, next time that dashboard throws an angry red warning light at you, don't panic. Enter the sequence. Speak its language. What secrets is your motorcycle waiting to tell you? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, guys, and happy wrenching.